So I had my Kentucky solved for the Past and Future box for past few days. I just haven't had a chance to upload. Still the busy season at work. Getting off late, going in early. I don't know if I'll have like a set time to do it. Plus friends and family get-togethers over the holidays. So I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm gonna try to record these in between my day and stitch it all together, and hopefully it makes a coherent video. We'll see how it goes. But I know you guys don't watch this for the high production value, for the solve and the theories and thoughts along the way. So that's what I hope I'm giving you guys today. All right, so starting out, here's why I like Kentucky, okay? And again, not discredit to the Tahoe, to the Ohio. No one knows who's right until we find the box. This is just how I went about it. It's a very, in my head, of course, I'm already biased. It's hard not to get biased, and it's hard to not want to defend, your solve. But as best I can, I'll try to look at it objectively, and after a few days have gone by, I'll be able to be more self-critical. But here's why I like it. So, sorry. And I talked about this in my last video, but the words in the word search, they bug me. I've heard everyone talk about the bit 39 list. We go over the, what kind of words he's using. If he's using numbers, all the numbers have to, they all have a meaning. Like 19 is the total number of horizontal words, forward and backwards. There's 3 diagonal. There's 3 diagonal, 3 vertical. And the numbers have to, but no one has said what 5 is unless it's the 5 clues. No one has said what 12 is unless you add another. There's 11 backwards. So if you find another backwards one, that's 12. The commonly accepted secret message is, there are 5 clues in this. And again, if you don't know what secret message is, you do the word search, and the letters that are left over, they form its anagrams, the secret message. There are 5 clues in this word search. Line them up. Why do we not use line? Oh, there's something in the text that tells you not to use line. I don't know. So for me, line was the first big clue that, line them up, but you're not supposed to use line because it's an anagram of lean or something. It's all messy. And so in my head, I tried to make it clean. And this is kind of makes sense to me, but I don't know if it makes sense to anybody reading it. But in order to make something clean, you're going to have words that are left out. You're going to have, I'm not using omelet, I'm using lemon. I'm not using less, I'm not using tone, I'm not using eons. There's a bunch of words that I'm not using. And so when I do my message, again, I get, there are 5 clues in this word search. Do not tell anyone them. And then I go for 3 are up on special bins. Of course, is that grammatically correct? 3 are up on. Why is it up? Why is it not 3 are on? Hey, that's just what I did it, all right? I just got to bear with me. So bottom line is, and then, just remain steady to complete the mission. So bottom line is we're looking for 5 clues, all right? How you got there. Most people agree that we're looking for 5 clues. And why are we looking for 5 clues? Some people say it's the 5 steps. Some people say there's something in text, there's in other chapters. It doesn't matter. We're looking for 5 clues, okay? And so when I look at the word search, I try to think, what are the most obvious of the 5 clues, all right? Well, to me, one of the most obvious ones is what's called the map, right? Where you have Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. So TN is a little space, TN, little space, NC, and then SC right below it. And then you have MA up in the corner. So Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Massachusetts. To me, that is very intentional. With Tahoe, because there's so many vowels in the words, you can find it almost anywhere. Same with Erie. Same with a lot of the other keywords that people are talking about. When the word search is size, and you're looking for a word, main, people found main all over the place because of the amount of vowels in the letters, and you're using the Pac-Man version of, you're not looking for a row, you're looking for anything connected or up and down. And especially if you go anagram, then they don't have to be in order, but just any clump. It's it's out of control. But to have TN, NC, SC, no vowels, all consonants, that exact pairing in that exact order, that to me seems very intentional, very very deliberate. All right, very demure, very mindful. It's early. It's like 5:48 here. So, anyways, up late last night. Focus. Here we go. The map. I can't discredit that. I think most people. I haven't really heard anyone discredit it. Some people say, yeah, it's something in there, but it's not part of the 5. To me, it's part of the 5. All right. So now we're only looking for 4. We have the map. That's a definite clue. Okay. So looking for the other 4. What else is in there? Well, out of all the words, what do we have repeated? We have 3 repeated, and we have state and state. Some people say it's e-state and state. I don't know, man. The state and state, and they're like basically almost connected with the e. Again, the probability of that being random, very, very low. Seems very intentional to me, very deliberate. So for me, that's clue number 2. And I like these if they're visual clues. You know, they don't require a lot of math. They don't require a lot of stretching to get there. Might be a little bit of a stretch on what they mean, but as far as the clues themselves, yeah, they're there. All right, so that's clue 1 and 2. They're visual. It doesn't require a stretch to get there. You've got the map, and you've got state, e-state. All right, that's how I'm going to refer to it, because it's a state, and then it's a e, and then it's another state. So now we're looking for 3, and what do you just know? 3 are on special bins and turns. And so the 3 that I found, they kind of match that. They're on special bends and turns. I think one of them is a special bend, which I would say when you're bending it across the map, that's how I'm referring to it. I don't think that's much of a stretch. And that's the anagram at the bottom, where it's play basic C, or C basic play, or play C basic, however you want. There's an anagram there. And the anagram's already been a precedent, so it's not like the anagram is something new. He introduces an aspect of a puzzle, and then he tells you to find 5 of them. All right, we've seen the visual element, so he's got that. The word play, the word repetition, we've got that. And, you know, he already introduced it on special bins and turns, which I think most people have that in their solve, the turns, because it starts on one line and then it goes to the other one. So why not have an anagram and a turn together? And that's the play basic C or C basic play. All right, so that's 3. So now we're only looking for 2 more. Of these 2, I think these are probably 2 of my weakest. I'm pretty confident on the other 3. I'm definitely confident they're there. Whether they're part of the 5, I'm pretty confident, like 90%, whatever. So the other 2, the remaining 2 of the special 3 on bends and turns, and the last of the 2 of the last of the 5 clues, we have our Satoshi Tech and player 1 detects 0. Is there an S? I can't remember. I don't have my notes in front of me. Player 1 detects zeros or 0. I can't remember, so I'm not going to say yes or no. But I have it written down, and I put it up on my post and all that other stuff. So let's go back to Satoshi Tech. Is it out of the realm of possibilities that he would have a reference to the founder, creator, mysterious person behind Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto? I think that's his name. Again, no notes in front of me, because this is just spontaneous. I was going to try to wait for Sunday night to do this, but I would have been dead tired. I'm dead tired right now. But I just figured I want to get this out because I'm just lazy and tired of responding to people, giving them the full solve and explanation. I'd rather just link them to a video. And I don't want to have people ignored. I really like engaging with everybody that watches the video. Is one of the highlights of this for me, meeting new people and engaging them and helping them out as they're going along this solve. All right, we're almost to the end of this first section. Sorry, getting notes from work here. Okay, so Satoshi Nakamoto, right? So I'm looking for Nakamoto. I figured that'd be easier to find than Satoshi. I don't really find Nakamoto in there. I don't even find Satoshi. This was, it was help from someone else in the Discord that posted it up. They found Satoshi and they found Tech next to it, which I didn't really like Tech because I feel like, at first I thought that'd be too easy to find, But then when you look at the word distribution, word frequency distribution, which again I have posted, it's the C and the H. There's not like a crazy amount of them. So I was like, oh, maybe there's something here. And so you can find Satoshi Tech in the upper top right quadrant, and it's an anagram. Again, it's not neat in an order, which again, anagrams have already been introduced. The whole special play Pac-Man version of finding words has not been introduced. This is new, but I think he introduces it when he talks about special turns, because bend is the wraparound, so special turns would be how you find it. I think that puts it in there. So okay, so that's Satoshi, right? So we found Satoshi Tech. And what is Satoshi Tech? A lot of people have gone into the route of, is it binary? We got a lot of zeros. We just need a 1. Is the I a 1? I went down the binary route for about a day or two. I posted something. I didn't really get much out of it. Maybe someone who's more computer than I am can find it. But Satoshi Tech is not binary. Satoshi didn't invent binary. I don't know who did. But Satoshi did invent Bitcoin. So you're looking for something Bitcoin related. All right, so I looked in the map for something Bitcoin related, couldn't find it. But then when I searched Kentucky, because I'll tell you how I got to Kentucky before, Bitcoin popped up massively. All right, this was actually pretty fun for me. I'm learning a lot of history. Thank you, JCB. I'm learning a lot of history about all kinds of stuff about this country, which I think is one of the things he intended, about states individually, about people. And so, long story short, I could probably do a whole episode on this because this is really fascinating. But when Bitcoin was really, really taking off, which I don't have the exact dates, but anyways, Kentucky in around 2016, 17, 18, which is when I guess the height, when John made a lot of his money, did really well in some crypto stuff around that time frame. Bitcoin was very energy taxing, was the word dependent, and Kentucky had a lot of energy because of a lot of the coal, a lot of the facilities that weren't really doing so well in coal. So they tried to use those same facilities and turn it into something else. A couple years later, the Chinese banned Bitcoin in 2020, 21. That they banned the mining of it. So a lot of the companies were looking overseas. They looked at the Kentucky government, state government, wanted to make Bitcoin mining profitable because a lot of the other stuff in the Appalachian foothills weren't really turning out. They looked for a way to boost their revenue and help the towns that were struggling. So they started putting favorable incentives to allow outside companies to set up Bitcoin mining facilities in the foothills of the Appalachians. One, it worked out great due to great for some people, due to the availability of all the energy there, of the coal, of the facilities that were able to turn that energy into electricity, or turn that raw materials into electricity. They had a lot of the same, network facilities. I'm blanking on the word. These videos are tough so early in the morning. And also Kentucky, the foothills there are kind of a nexus where a lot of the East Coast power grids are. A lot of the stuff meets there. I'm probably doing a terrible job explaining this, but you can Google it for yourself. Literally all you have to do is type in Bitcoin Kentucky history, and it'll pop up. You'll get all sorts of hits. All right, so I'm gonna stop this video right here, and then I'll pick it up later in another break. We're back after that brief commercial break. All right, so we covered the first 3 clues. We covered the map that's in there. We covered the state e-state, and we covered the Bitcoin. All right, so next we're gonna cover the last 2 clues that are on special bends and turns. One's another special bend. It's the Ready Player One, or it's the Player One detects 0. Which, all right, so here's why I like it. Which again, so finding all these letters together that create the phrase Player One detects 0 is, what are the odds of that? And I mean, there is an actual odds, like people can do the math and figure out what the odds and probability are. But seeing as how he talks about a few things repeatedly in the text immediately leading up to the word search, talks about Pac-Man, mentions it twice, Dungeons & Dragons, talks about Ready Player One, mentions it a bunch of times, especially the words Oasis, especially the creator, especially the main character. So he talks about it numerous times. So I believe that it is significant in the, and a lot of people were looking for it. A lot of people were looking for clues that were relating to Ready Player One in the word search. And this is another one that is not original to me. A few people, I think the second week the word search came out, were very coy about, oh, did anyone see the Ready Player One anagram? And I was like, no, I can't find it. Well, after a week or two, nobody got anywhere, and so they shared it publicly and said, well, here's the anagram, it's right here. Good luck if you find anything. And so, they were trying to use a 0 for it. Anyways, they show the anagram, which I put up on TikTok and I put up in the Discord. So again, I'm not very tech savvy, and my production value is mainly just me talking on camera. So if you're looking for images that back up, I recommend following me on TikTok because you can see them post. Where else would I post it? In the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, a lot of great conversations going on there. Or if you reach out to me privately, I should be able to get that to you at some point. But there's a lot of information, a lot of images, a lot of the word search, a lot of the maps and stuff. They're all on TikTok. That's just the easiest way for me to put them up. YouTube's where I do a lot of talking. TikTok is where I do a lot of posting and sharing the pictures. So anyways, in the bottom left quadrant, you'll see Ready Player One detects 0, and it's an anagram again, but all the letters are connected and they spell it out. And it doesn't require bends. It doesn't require bends around, like wrapping around the word search. It's just turns. It's little Pac-Man turns. So that's the second one. Now, this is, of the 5 clues that I found, this one I have the weakest, I'll say the weakest solve for, the weakest point to. I just know it's there, and I just know it means something. We'll come back to this one. And so the last one of the 5 is apply basic C or C basic, I'm sorry, not apply, it's play. Play basic C or C basic play or play C basic. And where I'm looking now is on the word search, which I hope most of you are referencing or looking at while I'm talking, or after I talk about this video. But you do the word search, you find the words, then you do the anagram, and what you're left with is you're left with a couple letters in the top row and most of the bottom 2 row all together, except for sapphire and zeros. And a lot of them are a lot of consonants, a lot of them don't make sense, it's scrambled up. But if you ignore the 5 and 5 in the middle, which again is hard to do without showing a picture, but where the bacilli or whatever, where the 2 C's are together, you can anagram play basic C or C basic play. It's right after complete the missions, right after that phrase, you'll see it in there. And so I think everyone's tried to anagram. I mean, I posted on TikTok many times me trying to anagram the lines 14 and 15, and I don't consider myself a super genius, but I consider myself decent at puzzles, decent at anagrams especially. You don't even have to be decent. You can use a lot of online resources for that, and came up with gibberish. There was no hits, no nothing. So then I started to think, well, maybe you exclude some of these, right? What would be the rule that would help you exclude? And so anyways, I came up with play basic C. And again, this was information that was all shared publicly. And a lot of people immediately went to codes, like the language, play basic C, like the language, the computer programming language, which I'm not an expert in, don't have a lot of background. Use a lot of Wikipedia and Google for that. And so C is from Wikipedia and Google, C is one of the original languages. It's very simple. You have about 32 original syntaxes, which are words, commands that only do one thing. And so I tried looking at those, and I could only find one. I could only find if. Again, I'm not looking at anagram because I feel like that'd be forcing it. I was looking for horizontal, forward-facing letters. I found if. I couldn't find go to, couldn't find constant, couldn't find char, couldn't find a lot of other commands. So after a brief foray into that, I discounted C as a language. So then I looked at maybe it's basic play C, which would be a basic Playfair cipher, which a lot of people like. Went down the rabbit hole, Playfair cipher. Playfair ciphers are a 5x5 cube. And again, I'm not a crypto expert, cryptologist or anything. This is from Wikipedia, from Google. So 5 by 5, how would I make the 5 by 5? Where would I get it? Well, there's an easy 2 layers of the 5 by 5, which are the bottom rows, the letters that aren't excluded, the letters that are excluded in the word search, in the anagram, in the play basic C. You're left with 2 nice rows of 5. All right, so where are the other 3? Well, if you look on the top row, you've got the QVUE, and if you take away the MA from the Massachusetts from the map, you're left with B. So that's 5 on the top. All right, so you got your top row, 5. You got the bottom 2. What about rows or lines 2 and 3? Again, well, if you look at turns, bins and turns, you could pull, something from there. But where else am I going to get it? Are you going to take the you're going to take the Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina? I don't know, man. I'll struggle and find it. I came up with a rough fit that I was trying to brute force. And in the Discord I have a Dropbox with all of these different word search formats. It's in Dropbox. I'll share it with you. You just have to be in the Discord for me to just send it to you easily. Which again, so I recommend you join one of the Discords, either Calazar's or Mysterious Writings. Shout out to them. Great people. And so again, Playfair Cipher wasn't getting me anywhere. You need a key. I tried to use Oasis, tried to use Sapphire, tried to use Love, tried to use Joy is too short. It needs to be at least 4 letters. Didn't get me anywhere. And then I found a little bit of an interesting rabbit hole, I guess. What about, so we tried basic play C. We tried play basic C. What about C, a basic play, right? C as in SEE, C, basic play. Looked at plays in Kentucky, went down an Abraham Lincoln rabbit hole, which is where he was born, and in Kentucky. And, there is a play that's original to Kentucky about Abraham Lincoln. Fun rabbit hole, didn't get anywhere. So the only progress I did make with Play Basic C, which I'm pretty confident that is the correct interpretation. I mean, the letters, the anagram, I just don't know what it means. I came up with a musical theory. He's a musician, right? JCB. I feel like nothing has been musical in any of the parts of this solve yet. I feel like each box might have, or at least one of the boxes would have some sort of musical puzzle in there. And so, looking at notes here. So what about you have to play a basic C chord or look for C. So this was a fun rabbit hole. Went in YouTube, how do you find a middle C, or how do you find a basic C? And they said, sorry, another lozenge. They say you look for the 2 black keys. It's the one on the left. So how do you find 2 black keys in a word search? My first thought was the O's, right? Hey, this could be where player 1 detects maybe some of the 5 clues help reference each other. I don't know if that's breaking a rule, but we're already off track here anyway, so why not? There's 2 groups where the O's are together, and so one of the letters is an A, one of the letters is an N if you look to the left, and then so if you're playing a C chord, again, I'm not musically inclined. This is all Wikipedia, all Google. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but they mentioned you go up 4 half steps to find the next note, I think an E, and then another 3 half steps to find a G. So I went up 4 and then 3 in the letters. I put them together. I went left, I went right, and then coordinating with a good friend, sometimes teammate. We've coordinated on Boots on the Grounds before. She's kind of musically inclined. She was talking about, well, I mean, there is only 1 G in the word search, which that should have been a light bulb right away. Because to play a C chord, if I'm using the wrong terminology, let me know. I'm not musical at all. But it's a C, E, G, right? So there's only 1 G, so that's in the bottom line, which has not been used a lot. So if you go to that bottom line, you find the G. Is there a C in that row? There's not, but there's an O, which again would be player 1 detects 0. So if you use the O, you can make a C and a G, and it's kind of forcing. Again, someone last night shared an image of guitar chords. I like piano chords more. I think they fit with the word search better. But the guitar chords did have some interesting fingering aligned to a C and playing a basic scale. All this to say, I guess I could have led with this, but didn't get too far. All right, so now we have our 5 clues, right? We've got our, trying to recap here. So we've got our state, e-state, we've got the map, we've got Bitcoin, right? Satoshi Tech, which is Bitcoin. We've got play basic C, and we've got player 1 detects 0. So this gets kind of fun. This is where I had fun getting it this far. So the map, all right, I did a pretty good overlay. Someone did a better one. I ended up using their overlay. But if you match up the Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina over like a physical map of the U.S., you can get that to fit pretty easily, and the scale fits. The hard part is because the line is the intersection where the 3 are, the line between Tennessee and North Carolina, and then this line that goes between North Carolina and South Carolina. You can make that maps as big or small as you want. You would need another point. Haha, that's why Massachusetts is in there. Because if you put Massachusetts, MA, and you line those 3 states with Massachusetts, then that narrows your scale, which is very important to determining where the cross is, right? We're using the cross as an X. You will notice that there is another X in the map. And so if you're looking at the states all right here, right, and then Massachusetts, and then you've got the cross that's right above the states, the X is kind of down here. That X, it ends up matching over, when you overlay the scale correctly, it ends up matching over like Mississippi. And I just didn't see anything else that aligned with any of the other clues with that area. So Mississippi, Alabama, if you find something in there, maybe that could be another possible clue. Another possible solve. But going back to the map, when you overlay the map, the cross lines up roughly in the middle of Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, right? So it's Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, all in this little like circle triangle area. And so you're like, okay, so using the map, you got to a general area, which I think this is how the clues work, in my opinion, is that it's narrow, right? 3,000 foot view, and it gets smaller and smaller. I don't think any of the boxes, if you solve any of the clues, will get you an exact coordinates. I'm not looking for coordinates. I stopped looking for coordinates early on. Some people still are. Good for them. That might be the right way. But from all of his language and how the word search and how the boxes can be found, I think the clues will get you to a general area, whether that's, I think it'll be close to the state for sure, but whether it's a city, a park name, a trail name, a monument to look for, something like that, you're still gonna have to grid search the last little bit. I don't think you can find the exact treasure with Armchair, and he even mentions it that you can get a general location with Armchair, but I don't think, I'll have to refresh my memory, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments as always, but I don't think you can find like the exact pinpoint of the box with an Armchair. You're gonna need a grid search, you're gonna need a boots on the ground. So anyways, clue number 1, the map, we found a general area, right? Now we have state, e-state. Where does that match up? Well, state, e-state, if you look at the angle, right? State and then state at this angle, it's a perfect 135. And it's perfect 135 because it's math, it's geometry, that's just how it works when you have one's going like this, one like that, right? It's not a straight line 180, it's not a 90, it's halfway in between 180 and 90, which is 135. Hope that math checks out. Incidentally, I'm not using really the coins in this other than a confirmation that the coin is a 135 and that does match up. So then now I'm looking in the area for a 135 degree angle. And the only one I did, well, there's another one if you look in South Carolina, North Carolina, but the one that I found that fits the most to me is the Kentucky border. And even though there's a mountain line in the southern, it does straighten out perfectly at the top. And so that looks like to me a 135. I guess I could have Googled to see what the exact angle is, but I think it overlays pretty well. At least it's far enough. Again, for none of this, I'm looking for perfection, because perfection to me would have been using everything in the word search, and I don't think the word search uses every single little thing. I don't like any perfection would have been using all the words, but you know, when you have eons, less, omelet, lemon, that doesn't seem like perfect to me, especially when he kind of winks at you and with the special bends and turns. So it's kind of like, hey, don't be so strict to the rules anyways, because or else you're not going to get the secret word search. Anyways, so we've got the map, we've got state, e-state, right? Now we've narrowed down to a state, which I think is amazing. I was trying to narrow down a state for a long time, but we've narrowed down to a state. We're using 2 of the clues. Now, how can we use the other clues, all right? So now the Bitcoin comes into play, because most of the Bitcoin mining in Kentucky is done on the eastern side. A few towns are very noticeable. The town of Inez, the town of, Burlington, something with a B. I've got it in my other notes. But the eastern part, the Appalachian foothills, eastern part of Kentucky is where we're going to be looking. So now we've narrowed down to even smaller. Now we've got the last 2 clues. We've got play basic C, something musical. We've got player 1 detects, zeros. How can those get us from the eastern side of Kentucky to an even closer spot? Remembering also that we can discount any public land, right? I mean, private land. We want public land. So narrowing down to Kentucky, narrowing down to the eastern side of Kentucky, narrowing down to Bitcoin mining towns, narrowing down to public land, I'm feeling pretty good about this area now. Full disclosure, you can, if you're looking for clues or where to go, you can stop watching the video now, because nothing I'm going to say after this, in my opinion, gives you a closer point of view. It's just all kind of thoughts, all kind of helping you see if you can use the start of what I worked on, and maybe you've gone down this road also, but I'm publicly saying it out loud, so now more people will be doing it. How can we get down even further? And I don't know, something musical. I want to try to force something. Nothing's happening. Ready Player One went down a couple of rabbit holes. It's a lot of Oklahoma City. It's a lot of Columbus, Ohio. It's even the authors from up there, where the author went to schools up there. The characters, none of the really backstory crosses with Kentucky. So I'm going to be looking for names. Player names, location names, book names, in-game locations that relate, games that are played in Ready Player One. How can they relate to Kentucky? I'm going to be looking for tangent, secondary, tertiary connections over there as I try to confirm more and more of my bias. But hopefully that helps. I think that's all I'm going to cover in this video. It's been I've been talking for quite a while now. I don't like these to go too long. Always try to be respectful of your time. Try to talk. These videos are all, I put them in the JCB playlist. I'll try to keep them treasure hunt related. I don't try to talk about other stuff. So if it's not clue related, if it's not hunt related, excuse me, then I try not to talk about it here. That's for other videos on my channel. But that's it, all I got. Now I've got pretty good solves for 4 of the boxes, in my opinion, and I'll go back and try to narrow them down, try to work on them later. Breaking news that just came out this morning. JCB in an interview announced that all the clues, he actually said the words all the clues for the box are in the chapter, which I think is good, because all of my solves only use chapter information. I don't go outside the chapter for any of the stuff. So that's all I got. Hopefully it helps. Subscribe so you can see whenever I do go on live briefly, you can get the notification, join, subscribe, and also for any breaking news, if I get a breaking clue, it'll come out and you'll be first to know. So like and subscribe and leave a comment. All right, thank you very much. Bye.